Hey guys, welcome. Today is Monday, November 3rd, 2025. First of all, happy Monday everyone. In this video, let's take a look at what is happening in Star Citizen recently, both in the tech preview and in the 4.4 PTU as well as in the 4.3 PU. First, in the tech preview channel, we had our first official engineering gameplay testing for the Ivacati members. I would say that testing was a very good start with 71 ships. And even though the tech preview is still under NDA, but there are already many leaked photos and videos out there, especially about the ships on fire. And I also received a few DM and emails regarding that. And the fire looks absolutely amazing. One thing I always worry about when the ship is on fire is that will it affect the FPS too much and make it unplayable? But according to the videos that I received, the FPS isn't too bad when the whole ship is on fire. And it looks really amazing, even for the very first iteration. And the fire extinguisher animation is also pretty decent as well. So I can't wait for it to go to wave 1 and get myself burned in it and bring every one of you with me. Now, one heated comment about engineering is regarding whether they will eventually release it to live or not, because once implemented, it will probably render a lot of our multi-crew ships non-soloable, especially for the Idris and Polaris. And some say it will affect the sales for more multi-crew ships, so CIG just won't do it. They won't release it to live. It's just gonna stay in the tech preview, at least for a very, very long time. So what is your take on this? Do you think CIG won't bring engineering to live? Or anytime soon? Or they are indeed actively working on bringing it to life ASAP. Now, speaking of which, according to CIG's message of the day on Spectrum this morning, another tech preview build for a potential Ivacati engineering testing is in the work and is scheduled for tomorrow, which is Tuesday, November 4th. So we shall see what improvements they will be making in tomorrow's build if released. And personally, I think CIG is actively working on bringing engineering to life as soon as possible. But what I think is that CIG will keep tweaking the balance to make it difficult for you to solo a multi-crew ship, because that is what a multi-crew ship is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be soloed, right? Especially the bigger capital ships. You can't even duel it. You probably have to get at least a triplet in order to crew it. That's the minimum. So I think CIG is actively working on bringing engineering to life, and I hope as soon as possible, because it's gonna add a lot of fun gameplay, especially for players who love the support role for a video game. Next, what is happening in the 4.4 PTU? Nyx happened. And for this, I don't want to know too much about it, and I don't want to read too much about it, and I intentionally avoid looking at too many leaked photos and videos, because I want to experience it for the very first time as soon as 4.4 PTU goes to wave 1, which I hope is later this week. If it does, I will sure bring every one of you with me to experience Nyx for the very first time, just like what we did in Pyro last year when they first released it. It's gonna be an amazing and once-of-a-lifetime experience. However, here are a few things that I learned about Nyx, especially the jump gates. We had Stanton for a very long time, and Pyro was added last year, and now Nyx, and the position of Nyx according to the Arc Star map is here. So Stanton is right here, Pyro in the middle, and Nyx is above these two star systems. So look at here, Stanton here, Pyro here, so Nyx should be somewhere around here. That's just my guess. Now, according to the Ivacati testing, the jump gate from Stanton to Nyx is they replaced this Magnus gateway to Nyx gateway. Now, look at the distance between Nyx gateway to everywhere else. The closest is Crusader. Even so, it's quite a long distance. If your home is at Arcorp, I think that's the furthest distance. And that's probably gonna take more than 100 gigameters. And Herson's right here. Herson to Magnus is still quite a distance. Microtech is quite far. The closest is Crusader to Magnus. So if that is true, then traveling to Nyx from Stanton, you really need to think about fuel. Not only that, if this is true, so look at the arc star map. This is Pyro, and Pyro to Nyx jump gate is right here. Pyro itself is already very, very big, and travel from Bloom to Terminus will already take close to 100 gigameters. Now, look at that distance. The star map might not reflect the real position of the Nyx jump gate, because even the Pyro to Stanton jump gate is not here when it actually released. So the arc map might not reflect the real position of the Nyx jump point. But I do have a feeling that the Nyx jump gate is going to be quite far inside the Pyro system as well. If that is so, then indeed traveling to Nyx will take a lot of fuel. We need to find a ship that can carry us to that distance. So that's something very interesting that I want to share. Other than that, I don't want to know too much about it, except that the first iteration of the 4.4 PTU build, the FPS is horrendous. Especially in the station of Levski, it's totally Lexski. But according to the message of the day in Spectrum, we are getting another 4.4 build for Ivacadi testers later today. However, for the first 4.4 PTU build, it's not only about Nyx. Here are a few other things that's rebalanced, and that's very important. First thing is the PDT changes. PDT is a point defense turret. The Idris, Polaris, A90 Jump, Reclaimer, as well as the Connie Phoenix. These 5 ships all have PDTs. Now, PDT's gun alpha damage has been reduced by 50%, resulting in an overall DPS decrease. Ooh, this is significant. 50% decrease in DPS. I haven't tested this myself, but I think this might be a good change. First of all, even you solo an Idris, solo a Polaris, it's less effective to use your PDC to destroy the enemy ships, especially in some of the PvE missions. Basically, you can just fly a solo capital ship, sit there, and watch your PDC destroy all other ships. This will not eliminate that kind of gameplay, but it reduces by 50% of the alpha damage for the PDT, so it's less effective. Now, you have to rethink whether you want to do that or not, because they might take a longer time to destroy all the enemy ships. Second is PDT's mass has been lowered, as their previous weight was considered too high. Now, associated with the PDT change are the missile and torpedo changes. The missile health has been reduced by the same percentage as the PDT alpha damage reduction, approximately 50%. Wow. Also, torpedoes' health has been reduced, though to a lesser extent, around 33% less HP overall. Let's take a look. So the data I'm using is the 4.3.2 live patch. Now first are the missiles. Now take a look at the missile health for size 1 missiles. It was 50. If this change goes through, it will be 25 hit points. 25 hit points. You can use your FPS weapon, 1 hit to destroy it. But of course, size 1 missiles are the fastest missiles. Size 2 missile health was also 50, and it's going to be reduced to 25. Size 3 is also 50. Size 4, also 50. Now, size 5, it's a little torpedoes. The health was 100, but is going to be reduced to 50 hit points. Size 7, which is only for the ballista, 300 before, is going to be 150. Now, size 9 and above, these should be considered torpedoes. Maybe even size 5 is also considered torpedoes. I'm not exactly sure. So if size 5 is already regarded as a torpedo, then the health will be reduced by 33%. So you should have about 66 hit points. Size 7, you have about 200 hit points. Size 9, you will have about 660% health. Size 10, which is also 1000. So size 10 and size 12, size 9, they're all 1000 health before. So the health is going to be reduced to about 660. Now, the patch note did not mention the bombs. So I assume the bombs still maintain 1000 health. However, for the missiles and the torpedoes, the health will be significantly reduced. Now, regarding those torpedoes, the PDT alpha damage has reduced by 50%, but the torpedo health has been reduced by only 33%. So in that sense, the torpedoes will become more effective in surviving the PDC hits when trying to hit a target. However, it will be less survivable if the torpedoes are hitting by another ship or hitting by a turret gunner. There are also additional ship updates. The first one is the Envo F8C Lightning. It's buffed forward G and roll angular speed. Next one is slight adjustments to angular acceleration to Envo Hawk, Envo Arrow, and Xperia Theiss. Good to know that the Theiss is getting some buff. Next one, slight medium interceptor tuning improvements for flight performance. Saber Raven, Firebird, Buccaneer, Herald, and Mantis. It says interceptor tuning improvements for flight performance. So I assume that all these ships received a buff, but because this is still in the Ivacati testing, so there is no data on the ERCO or the ship performance viewer. So we don't know exactly how they buffed these ships, but good to know that these ships are getting some kind of improvements. So that's it for the PTU. Now, what's happening in the 4.3.2 PU? The hotfix is happening, and currently the hotfix channel is open. And I'm not sure if some of the hotfixes is implemented in the PU or not, but one good thing that's happened is that the Halsey auto loading and auto unloading is fixed, as what I'm doing right now. Now, here are the few things that's in the hotfix channel. Number one is the quantum travel. The ship's destroyed parts are visually restored after quantum travel. This problem is still here. Even though the ship destroyed parts are visually restored after quantum travel, but whatever weapons or missiles that's on that part that get destroyed will not be restored. If an engine that's destroyed, if you do a quantum travel, if you're having the major torque imbalance, that will not be stored. It's just visual effect. Visually, that part is restored, but the functionality is not restored. So it's not like you can repair your ship by simply doing a quantum travel. That'd be nice, right? But that's not. Next one is the commodities kiosk. Purchasing cargo directly to a stored vehicle is not possible, as you cannot select an amount for the selected commodity. This is still the problem, so I'll be testing that once the hotfix is released to live. Now, third one is the Hunt the Polaris mission. Players can take control of the Polaris and quantum travel away from the mission location. Is this a bug? This should be part of the gameplay, right? If you steal the enemy AI Polaris, that should be considered mission completion. However, the Hunt the Polaris mission is not in yet. We're still in the phase 2 of those missions. This is the time for phase 3. It's called Takedown. It starts on November 6th at 1600 UTC. And November 6th is this Thursday. And 1600 UTC is 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time. So pay attention to the date and time for the phase 3, the final finale of the Frontier Fighter finale mission. And after that, I'm pretty sure we're going to see Nyx. Another major hotfix is regarding the missed call C. Automated cargo loading freezes after starting and does not resume. Looks like this is a very easy problem to fix because it just got fixed during the weekend. And we can do the missed call C run again. And I hope that this is a feature that's here to stay, even though CIG did say that eventually they're going to take away the auto cargo loading and unloading. So I hope it's not anytime soon, because once Nyx comes in, we're going to have the exterior cargo elevators. I hope those are just for some other smaller cargo ships. And for the House C, we are still having the option to whether choose auto load and auto unload, especially for the cargo missions. So this is it for what's happening in Star Citizen. Thanks for watching.